It is a linear form of telling a story, or it is a pattern of linear structure. This can be viable only for linear narratives. That's why there is a beginning, middle, and end. That's why we call stories also have a beginning, middle, and end, because they are linear. So 3-act structure basically is a linear structure pattern of telling a story. There is a beginning, there is a middle, and there are also 5 elements in the beginning. What are those 5 elements in the beginning? There is an opening balance, there is an opening event, there is a disturbance, and end of the beginning. There is a 5th point in the beginning, which is called the major dramatic question, which is called MDQ. These 5 elements, if you can satisfy, you will tell a story well in the beginning. The second act is nothing but the conflicts, confrontations, and crisis. Normally, for writers all over the world, they find difficulty to define this second act, because mostly when you have a story, you can know probably what is the beginning and what is the end. But in between, the middle is vague for you. So we need to structure that in a linear form as ongoing crisis and crisis and crisis and confrontations, and the growth of conflict is what works in the second act. That act ends with a pointer called enlightenment. That's where the act ends. Enlightenment is not part of Act 2. It is the beginning of Act 3 is enlightenment. So basically, what is enlightenment in Act 3? It starts with enlightenment, climax, and catharsis. These are the 3 elements in Act 3. So enlightenment basically is a new knowledge to defeat the antagonist, is called enlightenment. And the climax will prove whether the protagonist can really well defeat the antagonist or get defeated by the antagonist, both ways. And what is catharsis? Catharsis is nothing but happily lived ever after. That is catharsis. Or what is the end point of the whole story is what called the catharsis. What is the trophy? What is the end result of this whole story? This is 3-act structure. Now, what is a 5-act structure? No, it has all the same. The beginning, middle, and end is there. But the middle, which is the portions of conflict, is extended to 2 more acts. That's the only difference. So when you have a longer story to be narrated or a longer script which is narrated, the 2 additional acts are the conflict acts. Titanic is actually a 4-act structure. You know why? Because Titanic is a longer film. It's about 3 hours. So the middle act, 1 more act is added. The same way, if the movie is longer still, you can add 1 more act of conflicts to that. So that's the difference between 3-act structure and 5-act structure. There are even 9-act structure. But that depends more towards now that there is this oncoming web series content which is in high demand. Web series is more or less like this. It grows into many long hours of telling the story. So the first season of a web series is usually about 6 hours. So it has more acts of conflicts than the beginning and the end, which will be almost the same.